Hey guys, this is Jeff from This Week with JTT. Things just got interesting here, especially when it comes to the life of Mr. Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy. This is what it says here on the Associated Press. I provide links for this later. Prosecutor says Sean Diddy Combs requested for acquittal or new trial should be swiftly rejected. So let's see what it says here. Right here is from New York Associated Press. Federal prosecutors are urging a federal judge to quickly reject Sean Diddy Combs, requesting that he throw out a jury verdict or order a new trial after a jury convicted the music maven of two prostitution-related charges. Which is ironic. Those are two lesser charges that he got hit with. Somehow, of the RICO charges that carry like a lot longer, less different penalties and all, and longer sentence, they dropped the ball on that one. I still say that the prosecutor did a very poor job of presenting the case on the RICO charges. It goes on to say, prosecutor says in the papers filed shortly before midnight Wednesday that Combs masterminded elaborate sexual events for two ex-girlfriends between 2008 and the last year that involved hiring male sex workers who sometimes were required to cross multiple state lines to participate. That's where he got in trouble, at least on the lesser charge. A jury in July exonerated the Bad Boys record founder of racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking charges that carry a potential penalty of a mandatory 15 years in prison up to life behind bars. But it convicted him of two lesser Mann acts. I don't know what a Mann act is, but like I said, I'll post a link. Click on it, and we give the whole definition of what the Mann act is. Charges that prohibit interstate commerce related to prostitution. So you can't transport a hooker across state lines just so you get your freak on. Doesn't work that way. You get arrested and spend time in prison. The Mann, okay, it's going to go and talk about the Mann Act is. The Mann Act charges each carry a potential penalty of 10 years behind bars. Combs has denied bail despite his lawyer's arguments that their client should face little to no additional jail time for the convictions. Prosecutor said he must serve multiple years behind bars. I don't know. The fact that he didn't get hit with a RICO Act, which I think is more severe, makes me kind of question things. Combs had been in federal jail in Brooklyn since September of last year when he was arrested at the Manhattan Hotel. Sentencing is scheduled for October 3rd. So, folks, mark your calendar. October 3rd is the day you're going to find what the official sentencing is. Prosecutors wrote that Combs' attorneys were mistaken when they contended in a submission to the judge last month that the Mann Act was unduly vague and violates his due process of the First Amendment rights. Interesting. Goes on to say, evidence that the defendant's guilt on the Mann Act counts were overwhelming, prosecutors wrote. They know that the multi-day drug-fueled sexual marathons that Combs demanded of his girlfriends involved hiring male sex workers and facilitating their travel across multiple states for what became known as freak-offs or hotel nights. Okay, that's a different one, hotel nights. Prosecutor said he then used video recordings he made of the sexual events to threaten or coerce girlfriends to continue participating in these sometimes weekly or monthly sexual meetings. At trial, there was ample evidence to support the jury's convictions. The prosecutor said, pardon me, I'm trying to clear my throat. They said Combs masterminded every aspect of the sexual meetups, paying escorts to travel across the country to participate in directing the sexual activity that took place between the men and his girlfriends for his own sexual gratification, while sometimes joining in. So basically, P. Diddy is pulling Nero/Caligula. Cassandra Casaventura, an R&B artist who dated Combs from 2008 to 2018, that's a long 10 years, testified during a trial that Combs sometimes demanded the sexual meetups with male escorts every week, often leaving her too exhausted to work on her own music career. She said she participated in hundreds of freak-offs. I don't want to begin to imagine her body count. I don't want to know. Her body count must be insane. And I don't really like, well, it's not that bad. Okay, it's a freak off. Guys that take turns with her. It's like she get passed around more for a joint in a cannabis concert. So I can't begin to imagine the body count. A woman who testified under a pseudonym, Jane, said that she participated in the hotel nights when she dated Coles like 2021 to last September, and that events sometimes lasted multiple days, requiring her to have sex with male sex workers, even if she was not well. Oh, it's no rest for the sick weary. You gotta do this. That's just not right. Both women testified that Combs had threatened to release videos he made of the encounters as a way of controlling the behavior. Blackmail videos, basically. During these relationships, he asserted substantial control over Ventura's and Jane's lives. Specifically, he controlled and threatened Ventura's career, controlled her appearance, and paid for most of her living expenses, take away her physical items when she did not do what he wanted. Prosecutors wrote. The defendant simply paid Jane's $10,000 rent and threatened her that he would stop paying her rent if she did not comply with his demands, they said. In a submission requesting acquittal or new trial, Combs' lawyer argued that none of these elements normally used for a man that convicted, including profiting from sex work or coercion, existed. It is undisputed that he had no commercial motive and that all involved were adults, the lawyer said. The men choose to travel and engage in activity voluntarily. The verdict confirms that the women were not vulnerable or exploited or trafficked or sexually assaulted. You sure about that last part? The essay part? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go look a little bit further. I'm going to stop after because I have some time restraints on me. The lawyer said that Combs is at most paid to engage in voyeurism as part of swingers lifestyle and argued that he does not constitute prostitution under a properly limited definition of statutory term. Yeah. They say anything to get us behind out there. Well, I think that is it. Okay, cool. But folks, what do you think about this though? But now, how do you think the sentencing is going to go for October 3rd? So keep the market calendars. October 3rd is going to be the actual sentencing. How long a time he's going to serve. Technically, Diddy serves since it's going to be a year. Yeah, next month will be a year. He stayed in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. So how much longer are you going to stay in prison or locked up? Good question. What are your thoughts on this, folks? Let me know in the comments down below. Peace.